done. I was like, nobody's done a book review yet? Like, what is going on? I mean, maybe I'm off. And I'm like, and that's just a sign of how our history, you know, people are still purposefully erasing it. And if, you know, and I'm glad somebody mentioned it earlier, that if we are not the ones to write this history, then it will disappear. Yeah. And that is not going to happen. We're not going to allow that to happen. So thank you, Ponce, for that. Definitely no coincidence. And so what I want to do is, we're going to do like a little fireside chat, but I wanted to bring someone else into here. And this is on purpose. So this is something he's not expecting. This is El Maestro.
Oh my God.
So this is El Maestro.
Leave the car there. There's not
in September.
Give me a second. I'll be right on.
Right after Hurricane Maria.
This is El Maestro. Let me just show you guys. No. Look at all these supplies giving able to do.
This is part of his work.
This is the wonderful work that these people here have been doing.
My boy Camilo.
Carlos, mucho gusto, caballero.
Look at this, huh? A mountain. And this is only part of it.
This is all para isla. Wow, look at this, man. It is a mountain. Yes, good work. It's on the count. Wow, all the volunteers. What's your name, brother? Tracy. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing, brother. Look at this, man. There's more? Oh, damn.
Okay, we doing what we're
Okay?
doing here.
That's right.
Yeah, let them know what you're doing and who you are.
What we're doing, I'm Pedro Laspina, and I'm one of the guys that run in Maestro Mexican and Culture Center. My brother here, Javier. My neighbor, brother, Tracy and Carlos. What we're doing is, it's going to rain. Unfortunately, it might rain today.
Yeah.
So we put his stuff away. But inside, we got the truck that is going to go. And most likely, we're going to try to fit all this in the truck.
Yeah.
We got all this stuff in bikes, the one that we said collected on the Rico Island.
Mm-hmm.
Water we got, Pampers we got. It's a mess, but by tomorrow the crew, the brigade should be here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we do what we gotta do.
Yeah, man.
If you got anything out there, don't bring it here, please. Go to to Santa Barbara and Ogden. We pack.
Southern Boulevard in Ogden if you want to make some donations.
Right. Anybody want to make donation? Well, we still collecting funds to send this stuff to Puerto Rico. Most likely by Wednesday, we send the truck out.
Yeah.
It's going to go to Luis Aldea, right?
Yeah.
It's going to Luis Aldea en la universidad, ¿verdad?
To the university and coffee in Loiza.
Okay.
And then Loiza's got help distributed to other community-based organizations, people that can get out into the people.
All right.
Once we do this, and we send our truck to truck, then we're going to concentrate on Ponce.
Yes.
And the airport is good.
Good.
The place we landed, nothing had landed over there. We've been listening. I just called my brother, nothing is getting there. But we're lucky that we by the countryside, people are eating guineo, ñame, whatever.
Yeah.
So
That's good. So you've been in touch with your family too over there?
Yeah, I spoke to my brother today. He's a veteran. He was going to try to get back to Villalba, from Ponce to Villalba. They're good because they got running water.
Good.
My house, my sister, we don't have a house, but we got running water.
Wow.
We using generators, and my brother, he's a veteran. He's supplying his neighborhood with the vegetables, whatever.
Wow.
He got the coffee, so they're getting it on. We live like back in the days in communes, you know.
Yeah.
So each neighborhood taking care of his neighborhood.
So now, if people want to donate money but they can't physically get down here, is there like an electronic?
Camilo.
Is there a way they can donate electronically?
Care account for Maestro, and this is just for the shipping, for the people over there, for their gas over there,
Yeah.
and for the volunteers to be able to get around Puerto Rico.
And that's a UCare account? How do they access it? UCare.com?
/El Maestro. I had to.
Yeah, send it to me. But UCare /El Maestro, you should be able to find it.
So
That's what's up, Steve.
I did this interview September 30th, 2017.
Wow.
And when Ponce called me and told me that he was coming, sorry if you got emotional, I got emotional too. I said, you know what? I need to bring his brother into the space because his brother is a major part of his story. And had his brother been here today, he would have been alive today, he would have been here. No doubt in my mind. Florida? Vamos. I met Ponce's brother before I met Ponce. I was a case manager doing HIV case management I did that. That's my first career. I did that for like 11 and a half years before I did full-time, criminal punishment. And I used to house, people in emergency housing. And one of the places I used to house them in was called Hogar. And it was on 152nd Street, right by the Jackson 205 train stop.
Where they do the festival.
Where we do that's right, that's what we do the Bronx Puerto Rican Day Festivals, 152nd Street. And I come inside, and who is working the front desk? And I don't know his last name at the time. I'm like, you working here? And he's like, yeah, you can't just come in here, And I'm like, but I'm a case manager. He's like, Long story short, I find out he's Ponce's brother. And I wind up meeting Camilo, which is who I met first. And that's what we're gonna actually start. So why don't you come up here? And let's have what I like to call a little fireside chat. And it's okay, I'm gonna leave your brother up there. So I met Camilo first because I came home in 2006 and I learned about the Puerto Rican political prisoners and the struggle for the independence of Puerto Rico. I learned about Don Emeterio Betances. I learned about who I was in this world because of that. And so I met Camilo through La Prisionera. Remember La Prisionera? Because La Prisionera also worked Paola Santiago, that's right. She worked doing harm reduction. And so we met because she worked for, if I'm not mistaken, the New York City Harm Reduction Coalition. And I was like, your name is La Prisionera? And La Prisionera is a famous poet. She's a New Yorker poet. She's famous. And so that's how I met. And then my very first show that I did on the Count, which was a radio show in New York City, it's still around. It's called On the Count, the Prison and Criminal Justice Report. The first program I did was on the 2 remaining Puerto Rican political prisons at that time, because this is 2008. So Carlos Alberto Torres was still locked up, and so was Oscar Lopez Rivera. And I did my very first program on the show with Camilo as my guest and La Prisionera. And we were talking about the movement to free Oscar, and I became part of the group. What was the name of the group?
At that time, the 34 Oscar?
No, not the 34 Oscar.
Boricua Human Rights?
Boricua Human Rights, yes. So I became a member of the Boricua Human Rights Network. So, his 2 books are here, and we're not going to actually get into this one because today is about the other book. It's about the el Partido Nacionalista de Puerto Rico. Pero no podemos hablar del Partido Nacionalista sin hablar de lo que pasó entre 1970 and 1977. So just I wanted to share just briefly. They came from Puerto Rico in 1970 together and went to the South Bronx. In 1972, his brother became president of the Young Skulls, 5th Division. 72, he's 16 years old. In 1975, moved back to Florida. He moved to Florida to live with his sister Gladys, right? His brother. And in 1976, co-founded the Festival of Lares. He co-founded that with who? With you.
Yes.
He also co-founded the Caribe Village organization with you.
All together.
All together.
All together.
In 1977, he participated in the St. Hostos Community College and co-founded the Comité Against the 51st State of Puerto Rico. In 1977, and this is where I want to actually start, because if you want to know what happened between 70 and 77, you're going to have to get this book. So in 1977, he joined the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party in New York City. And so, vamos a empezar ahí. And I joined the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party in 1977. What happened? Why? Because I don't want to give away the stuff, because I know it was why he was incarcerated before 77, but why in 1977 the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party?
Okay. Before I get to that, I want to thank you for being here. It's really an honor, big honor, and especially the type of work that we do in the community, especially when you get old. Because I'm 68 years old now. To see the work that you do and everybody do, but especially what Ruben is doing with these kids. You know, boxing is amazing. It's a great sport.
a lot of them promoted to do it about money and all that. But we know that it's have been a great sport. We have taken a lot of our families out from from being poor to be able you talk to the kids and the first thing they tell you, I would like to make some money to get a house for my mother.
That's right.
And that gets to me. Or I want to do this for my sister, or them being orphans or whatever. I was never orphan, but I went through a lot of tough situations because I come from a large family. We were 18 brothers and sisters coming out from a little barrio in Ponce, which is called Tibes, which means so much to me. And by the way, when you read the book and you said Tibes, produced by Tibes, is my hometown. And they took out about 300 families from there, and now it's a reservoir that is not resolving nothing for our people, but our people have to be dispersed. And I was talking to a young girl here. She lives in Villalba. My family, part of my family had to move to Villalba, and other in Ponce, and other to New York, and all that. It really so much to him because out of all my 10 brothers and sisters, I love them. But this is the one that stood there with me all the time. It's like my twin. We was the last one to leave from Puerto Rico. We spent 6 months, but us, not by ourselves, because the neighborhoods and friends and all that took care of us, extended family. And so I was 15 and he was 14. And we spent 6 months over there. And I don't want to say this because then I get in trouble in my house. But at that time, I learned how to cook. Now I don't cook. I only do coffee after the dishes. But it happens. I love this video. It's many videos, but I love this video. And I don't know if you could play a little bit back, but we just lost him a few years.
Yes.
And then it happens that it's another brother there, younger, that we just lost him about a year ago. Yes,
Javier.
And they both died of cancer, which my father had mentioned early, 25 years ago, he died of cancer.
Javier, he was
Well, then in the courtyard scene.
Oh, cuando estamos afuera.
Right here.
Something like that.
Right here. No,
The courtyard is the little.
He's in the courtyard, he's right there. Right there. No.
It's before that.
He's picking up the garbage or whatever. I don't know what he's doing.
Right there. You get in there.
With the red?
No,
No,
that one.
Más para atrás o más
That's him. That's that one.
Yeah, that's
you
that
passed
one. That was it.
already. You have him.
That was it. The
Which
courtyard.
one? This is the
I'm sorry
beginning.
that I'm taking you. It's
No,
only
me
the beginning.
that goes low.
No, so él está afuera.
No, Javier was next to Pedro.
Right there. Just leave it.
That's
in
right
the
there.
Let it go, Steve.
But
He,
right
look at
there.
him.
Him.
No, the other one.
But anyway, I see get him. So he happens.
That's him.
Right there. There you go.
And he just happened, and that's our neighbor. So, and then it happens that, we did so many things together. I mean, learn, how to fight, be in the gangs. We were in the gangs. All three of us, especially him, was a president of the Savage schools. He was a president of the young schools. And Javier was the president of the baby schools. I mean, when you talk about the gangs back in the 70s, it's not like the bullshit that you see out there. It was nothing but family. We had to be somewhere to take care of ourselves, to take care of our sisters. The bullying that was going around there. Even our own people that they were called so-called New Yorkers, Puerto Ricans born in the Bronx. They don't want to speak Spanish, they speak more English, and they call me jibaros and whatever, that we not there, we don't belong there, whatever. So we went through all that bullying thing. So we spent a lot of time together, and so what I wanted to, and that's why I got emotional, because that's a good video, a great video about things that we did in our community.
That's right.
During that time, and we did it with the support of our community. No money from elected officials, no money from companies and all that. She knows how much was the container.
Each container have
65,000 pounds, and we spent how much money?
It's the 6,500, but it's for 40 pounds, but the people give you allowed to do 67.
65, and we was doing it for one container,
67,000.
only, and we did 3 containers in about 3 or 4 weeks, and we have hundreds of people that went from Ohio, Philadelphia, Connecticut. We have people from all different colors, from all different religions, and it was amazing. Like every day there was dozens of people there putting things together, and when they came to load that truck, it was about 100 people there, and it was amazing the experience, and the thing was that people were saying, because the elected officials right away said, "Oh no, we're gonna take this and whatever, and they're still waiting, and they're still waiting."
That's right.
So they figure, "Oh, how you gonna do that?" Don't worry. We had the connections in Puerto Rico, and we sent it by the Puerto Rican moving company called La Rosa del Monte, and we pay, and they treat us good, and we made sure that they picked up on time. And when there's containers or whatever from the government was still waiting to be inspected to give out the people, our containers was already giving out, because we had people there like lawyers, community activists, and all that. And we was gonna do one container, and then people kept bringing us. So let's get the money, let's do another one. We end up doing 3, okay? And then looking at the videos and pictures of people in Puerto Rico saying thank you on how we did it, and so it was easy, because at the beginning when nobody knows, I mean they know you, but they when they're talking about donating money to send a container and donating good stuff and all that, like they still don't trust you. Because the bad experiences that I have with other people, and especially I'd say more with the government. So we did one, and they said, "No, everybody talking, no, you gotta send it to the maestro." We did a second, "Oh, and I'm tired," and my brother was there. "Okay, let's go." We did another one, so we did 3. But that was an experience. It gave us a lot of credentials with the people. People learned to recognize. So I want to say that, because then after that, a few years ago, then we have the earthquakes in Puerto Rico, and especially in the south, like in Hart, Peñuelas, Guanica, and those places. So he said, "Okay, so here we go again." So we did another container, 65,000 pounds, and then of course everything was supplies and whatever. We had experiences like, for example, people say, "Oh, I have a wheelchair to donate," and people would think, "Oh, that wheelchair? You crazy?" Yes, people needed wheelchairs. Yes, people needed crutches. Yes, people needed dog food. People needed cat food. It wasn't just water or food or whatever. There was a lot of things needed. So we got to do that. So I just wanted to explain that.
No, I'm glad, because this was not part of the script at all. Like, I knew I wanted to bring him into the space and share this video, not because it's a video that I did. Of course, it's an awesome video. We had almost 500 looks just with this, and I didn't even publish it. It's not even. It was just based on the work itself. But I wanted to make sure, because I didn't know all of that stuff, but I knew in reading and in knowing him and in being around you that your story, is just both of your stories are so intertwined and together. And so I wanted to bring him into the space, and I know it might have made you a little emotional, but it's so, thank you. Yes. I appreciate that you shared it. Because I knew that as I was reading it, and because you dedicated to him. If you're saying, anytime you're saying that the stuff that he did is the stuff that you did together, and then whenever he says, "Oh, he co-founded with who? Co-founded with his brother." Like, all of the stuff they did together, and so, I just wanted to make sure that he was here and he stays here. Tell us about Mozambula.
Well, Masambula.
Masambula.
Masambula is a Dominican friend, and I hate it. By anything I hate is when I forget names and all that. Because back in the days, especially the gangs in the street, you knew your closest friend just by the nickname. You know your closest friend, by the whole name. It was like me recently, because of her. I have to blame my wife. People started calling me Fernando, and who is Fernando? He's no, I know Ponce. I don't know Fernando, and that's me. Everybody call me Ponce. So it just happened that because I said, the bullying and everything that was going around, we end up being members of the Savage Cause. And the Savage Cause is a great history. They still exist. There's a lot of, you could look them up in the Google it, whatever, Facebook or whatever. We are with their very good documentaries. Ruben mentions a Madrina, that's one of our members. Lorraine Padilla. And she was married to our president, so she was the first lady. Don't say that she's not the first lady, even though they're not together. But anyway, so we end up in that gang, and it just happened that you get in there, and then after a little bit, I hooked up with a guy that was like my brother, Franco Vasquez. And I met Blackie, and I met all this guy. Blackie was and still the Supreme Press. The guy still exists. They got a chapter here in Central Florida, and they got a couple of chapters in Philadelphia, in New York, and whatever. But like in the 70s, we was like the biggest gangs in New York City. Okay, and we had trouble with a lot of other gangs. But it just happened that when I look into the history of the Savage Coast, I'm from Ponce. Blackie, the Supreme President, is from Ponce. And my closest friend that got me into the gang, he was from Ponce. So I look at it, there was a lot of people from Ponce there. So I end up in the right side. But I got arrested. You know, I don't want to really get into. I mean, not because I don't care. I do. But when I go in jail in 1973, I end up meeting a guy that they call him Masambula. And I, you know, it didn't make no sense like to me, but then now it does, because Masambula, and I hope that he still lives, and this is somebody that I've been looking for, because he as a Dominican was the first one that when I went in jail during that time, especially the Savage Coast, I don't take my shirt, I'm not fighting. but during that time, especially also the Savage Coast, I know the gangs did it too. But especially all the Savage Coast, you know, the long hair, the jackets and whatever. But we were in our lip hands. We had the lip hands, and the lip hands is something like this. And the lip hands are the best because in here you could put your knife, like the 007. You carry the 007. But then in the back of the pants, we have the Puerto Rican flag. Like here. You know what I mean. You don't know. So when I go in there, he called me and he told me, you know, what are you doing with the Puerto Rican flag there? This is my flag. I feel like having it. And then he took me to school. He said, that's not a piece of shit. This is that. The flag's supposed to represent your country, and you have a rich country. And then he started telling me about Betances, and it happened. It made coincidence because our father of the country, Puerto Rico, Dr. Ramon Emeterio Betances from Cabo Rojo, his father is Dominican, and his mother Puerto Rican. And he continued telling me about Pedro Albizu Campos, and I was already boring all the shit I was telling him. But anyway, he kept calling me out Che Guevara and Fidel and Juan Bush, and he took me to Mexico. And by the time I came back, I was tired. You know, all the things that he took me all over the world. So, and this is in jail. This is, you know, and I'm afraid. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm just thinking that am I going to get a visit, or I'm waiting for a letter? I'm going home, and you know, next time I go to court. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, but he was the one, and he was good because I had met people like for the young lords and what that, right on the street and what that. And I say, you know, I was a gang member. I trained the Valley High Wine at that time, a Colt 45 and all that, but I never did drugs. And sorry to say, but you know, true story. I met a lot of young lords there, but you know, they're trying to tell me about this and that, but they're all high. Yeah. You know, so I'm a gang member, but I'm, you know, because I went to school, I was an A and B student. You know, I never missed school. And I like to be clean, but when I had to be with the gang, so of course I had my jacket dirty and I had to be an outlaw, right? But anyway, so he schooled me. Masambula is the guy that schooled me, and he's the guy that opened my heart and my mind to another life. And it happens that at that time to receive information, piece of paper information like that time. Palante newspapers and other newspapers from the young lords and other, any leaflet or whatever, it was illegal. You get caught with that, they put you in solidarity and solidarity, right? So it happened that one day the guy that I mentioned before, Franco, he sent me some papers, and then he told me, first Masambula was a guy that was in charge of the gallery, and they already had told him, this guy named Ponce is going over there, take care of things. He's one of our brothers and all that, whatever. So, but then they sent me that piece of paper, and he said they send you this and they want you to read it. So when I went to the cell, I started reading, and the opening or the title in the first page says the Ponce massacre.
Oh.
So when I opened the paper and I started reading, I was really angry and I was crying because I'm from Ponce, like I mentioned before. I was born in March 21, 1955, and the massacre happened March 21, 1937, right there in my hometown. And I was so upset, and cried because I didn't know shit about this. I was 15 years old, and they should have taught me this in Puerto Rico in the schools. And they never taught us that. So I got upset, and before this, there were days I would tell them, no, there's no young lords here. They have young lords all over the C-71 building, but they don't have no young lords here. And then he said, he's trying to get on my mind. He did anyway. So he said, no, you be good because we heard that you're good, that you fight, people respect you out there and all that. So you should be good to run this group here about the young lords and all that and educate them and all that. You got the material to be a leader. I said, you're full of shit, man. I just want to go home. So anyway, so when I read that thing about Ponce, and I said, okay, so let's have a meeting. So he called a meeting, put a table, and about 6-8 people came, and then he said, oh, whatever. He was like a dictator, but a good dictator. He's gonna be in charge. He's gonna be, at that time they call him I forgot now. Anyway, but in charge of the group, minister. That's how they call the people in charge of the different divisions or groups and all that, sections, divisions. So okay, whatever. So he started telling me, we're gonna learn about the Puerto Rican flag, the difference between the Puerto Rican flag, the lattice flag, and all that. I said, oh shit. And then I said, fine. So I had to go and read and all that. So by the second or third day, we was already saluting. We had about 10 people, and we learned how to salute the flag, to sing our real national Puerto Rican anthem, something that they didn't teach me in Puerto Rico either. And I was upset that coming from Ponce and having had Pedro Albizu Campos, being from Ponce, the most educated Puerto Rican ever, graduated from Harvard with all the honors and whatever, and you're not teaching that to the Puerto Rican kids.
Right.
You're not teaching that to the Puerto Rican kids in Puerto Rico and especially in Ponce. So what they're teaching, So it got me into that, and that cost me a lot of rumbles in there. It cost me a lot of times, being what we call in the Bing, 1 week, 2 weeks, or whatever, confined and all that. But this guy Masambula, like I said, I don't know his name, but I hope he's alive, a good man. And in the way you had to look up to him, he was like, I was like 155 pounds and 17, 18 years old, and he's about 6'2", muscles like that. So anyway, so I'm Masambula.
Oh man, no, I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing, because I in getting ready for this, I thought that your relationship with him was one that catapulted you and sent you into this journey where you became now you get ready to come home. So now you're home with all of this stuff.
Right. That's in 1973. I come home in 1974 on bail. I was out for about 6-7 months on bail, and then we went to trial, and it was a mistrial. They was offering us 25 years at that time. And then so it was a mistrial, and they said, so they set up another trial, and I said, I'm not going to no second trial. Because because what happened is that it's like when you read the story of Pedro Albizu Campos, or how the Puerto Rican jurors at that time, they all say, not guilty, and it's no, we have to put, excuse the language. Sometimes I like to speak, the way that we should be speaking sometimes. But these mother flowers, they wanted him in. They wanted to destroy the party. I wanted Abisu and all the leaders in jail. So they said, no, we got something for him. And they did a second jury, and everybody was to vote him guilty. Him and his board, and that's how they found him guilty. So I said, I'm not going to that, and so they said, okay, so they got me an offer of 4 years. I said, I take it. I don't want to spoil it. It's in the book. I don't have nothing to do with the case, but the thing was that I don't want to be a snitch. No. You cannot be a snitch and pretend to be a leader in your community, and you got to man up. You got to man up or woman up or whatever, And so I said no, because I have a lot of family. At that time, I had children, a child, and passed not too long ago also. And I said no, I'm in the community. I'm not going nowhere, So I didn't snitch and all that. So I took it as a man. I hate it. And then at the end, instead of the 4 years, they gave me 3 years. So I go back to, they said, putting me back in, I go to Elmira. And who I found there again? Masambula. He was already, he said, I already know. You're not arrested for another case. You're still arrested for the same case. So, like he was not really, in the movement, but he was very aware and very educated and all that. And he was so proud of me. Because he knew what I had done, and he knows that I had went out to the community and I was going around talking to the gang members, about this is the gang that we should be in the, in the movement and doing better for our kids and all that. So,
when did the Nationalist Party, the New York City chapter? So when did that come about?
Well, as I said, when all the things that I read during that time, because this is a time that. In the 70s, this is a time where not only Puerto Ricans, but many other leaders from all different movements, they are being incarcerated. The COINTELPRO, all that retaliations on people. So that's the time that basically Don Pedro had died, but Oscar Collazo is in jail, Lolita Lebron, Rafael Cancel Miranda, even Floyd Rodriguez, Martin Sostre. I think Angela Davis was in jail at that time. There were many other Black Panthers members, Black Liberation Army members. There was people from all different nationalities. But especially for us Puerto Ricans, is hard, which is something that is in my second or third book. There were many other people in jail that have been arrested in the 40s, right? There were 40s and 50s, and then after that, there were people arrested like Lolita Lebron, and then in 1954. So there was many other people in jail at that time, like Carlos Feliciano, that he just died about a year ago here in Daytona, Florida. And there was many other nationalists. And it just happened that Puerto Ricans were fighting for the independence of Puerto Rico, in Puerto Rico in particular, in New York City and United States, but especially those leaders that was fighting in Puerto Rico, they were being arrested in Puerto Rico and charged with trying to overthrow the government of the United States by force and whatever. But they don't leave them in jail in Puerto Rico. They bring them to Tallahassee, or they bring them to Atlanta, Georgia. For example, all the people that didn't want to go to the military service, like Rafael Cancel Miranda, many other leaders, even Brother Cristobal, that he was killed in Tallahassee. There was many brothers that were killed in Tallahassee, right, and in other institutions here. So the thing that they do that, get them out of Puerto Rico, and then separate them from the people, separate first from the family. It's hard, especially at those times, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, to come from Puerto Rico, get tickets and all to come and see them. Maybe you get to see them, right? So it was a lot of things. So it broke up a lot of things, family relationships. and movement relationship. So when I'm there, I started learning about this, and wow, they in jail and whatever. So when I come home, little by little, I started meeting them. So especially when I'm up in Elmira correctional facility, that's a time where Arica thing had happened. I had met people in Arica that they have been burned. During that time, the person in charge of the institution, what they call the warden, at that time in Elmira, 70, 75, 76, he was a Grand Dragon. Grand Dragons are the main leaders of the Ku Klux Klan. And basically, in I don't know how many institutions, they were burning the black prisoners and Puerto Ricans, because of color and relationship with the black people. A lot of our Puerto Rican brothers, they were being burned in the cells. And then, especially in Elmira, you look at Elmira, I hope not to look down, but anyway, but back then you look at from the window and you see a cemetery. And that cemetery, you will see their activities, like dressing white, burning crosses, and whatever. Then after that, it was found out that one of the person in charge there, the warden, he was from the KKK. But it was many institutions. A lot of cases came about that. Many people died. It was a lot of uprisings on many of the jails, like Greenhaven, Comstock, CNC, and many of the jails. It was just that Arica, basically Arica, is what everything started. So when I come home in 1976, the first thing I went to do, Stephen mentioned that he was able to get his GED before he was arrested. I didn't get my GED before I was arrested. I had to do my GED up on Elmira. So when I'm coming home, I have a lot of things to go for. First, I had to take care of my oldest son. My mother was taking care of my oldest son, my first son at that time, and then I have to look for a job. I was on probation at that time, and then I want to go to college. So I started working in a factory, and I want to go, guess where? To college. I wanted to go to Ostos Community College on 149th Street in Grand Campus, which is named after one of our biggest educators and independent leader. But what happens? The college is about to close. Not about to close because they want to close, but the system wanted to close that college. With Ostos Community College was the first Hispanic university or college in the United States. So they was making cuts and all that, and at that time I think it was Mayor A, Bing or whatever, they wanted to close the college. First they wanted to merge with Bronx Community College, then they say Hostos or close because they didn't want to go nowhere. So guess what? I'm in there in a takeover, led by one of the guys, or a few guys, but one of the guys that became like my mentor, also graduated from Harvard University, Ramon J. Jimenez. Great man. And of course there was another brother there called Gerald Myers. They were all different people there. So in that takeover, 40 people got arrested, students, teachers, staff, and community leaders. So as I'm gonna get arrested, no, you can't. You gotta get out. They took me out because I was on probation. So, but I was able to enroll in February '77 at the college. I graduated there. I ran the president of the student government. I was president of the Socialist Student Federation and many other organizations. But during that time, the Nationalist was still in jail. The 5 Puerto Rican nationalists at that time, right? And we had to do something. And the something was that we took over the Statue of Liberty. But it was not just for the independence of Puerto Rico and the freedom of the nation. It just happened that one of them, Andres Figueroa Cordero, was basically real sick. They didn't take care of him. And he had a colon cancer and all that. And when they let him go, because they say he's gonna die in a week. So that's why they let him go. It just happened he went to Puerto Rico and he revivió, and he ended up living for about a year and a half. It just happened that the end of the week is his anniversary, Andres Figueroa Cordero. a great warrior and freedom fighter from Aguala. But not only that, at that time, one of our sisters that was arrested and she's being raped, abused, and everything in a New Jersey jail, Asaka Shakur, Joan Chesimar. So that was one of our demands, to stay away from her and to bring awareness. She had been accused of killing some white police officers and whatever, but while she was in jail, the white police officers, they were raping her and doing all kinds of shit to her. Just to say, and I know probably you will know, but you don't know, she's alive and well in our sister country, Cuba. Okay, and if you don't know, many, many times the government of the United States, they offer millions of dollars to Fidel Castro to give her back, and they say, hell no. Okay, and she's very well in Cuba. So when I come home, I'm there. I'm invited by the Puerto Rican Socialist Federation, and so I end up being the president, and I end up meeting a lot of the nationalist people that I wanted to meet, and so I joined the party, and here I am. I'm still the president of the Nationalist Party. And I was arrested there, then I was arrested again for another takeover at Hostos Community College. And then in the Bronx Criminal Court, this guy here was in jail. They had said that they had arrested him with some shotguns and FLM information and whatever, and it was BS, because during that time that they said that he did that, he was here in Florida. As I say in the book. But they arrested him. So now when we go to court for him, it just happened that when we go in, a whole bunch of people, the family, people from the movement, they arrested me too for being a nice guy. So they arrested me, I beat my case, but my brother ended up being in jail for 1 year, then he went to trial, and he beat the case because they had no case for him. But the only thing, there's a joke there, but it's serious. The picture that they have of him, he had never been arrested before. But what happened was one day we live on Vice Avenue, and during that time that was isolated. It was only my house and a few buildings there. So one time I don't know where he was coming from, but he had a pee. So he started peeing and they arrested him. And the picture that they have from him in records is that day that he was peeing there. So but he had never had a record, So, so then they arrested somebody, they look at him and whatever, and then when they went to court, the trial, they found out it was not him, they got the guy. So anyway, so that's some of my cases, and that's how I joined the party.
So, this is the New York chapter that you created.
Yes.
So, 1922 to 2022, we're talking about a long time.
Give me a second.
This is intermission. Agarrando el libro.
Yeah. So anyway, I have the Spanish book. I got the English book, and this is my latest book. It's 2 volumes. Volume 1, Volume 2, and it's in Spanish. It's being translated. The guy that are doing the translation, they say, wish me good luck, because I don't know how the hell I'm doing this shit. Right? But anyway, this is the story of the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party. A mí me gustaría hablar español. Si necesito hablar en español, me avisan, porque soy loco hablando español. Pero I understand that, Y el libro es en español. The book is in Spanish. So anyway, people don't know history like I didn't know. Right? Now, my brother, aquí Ivan, mentioned something about people writing books and all that. I say, if you have something to write, you got a story to tell, write it. There are people that be willing to help you. And I know they are. At the beginning, I didn't get no help. And I went to people that have books. Nobody helped me on my first book. only brother Camilo that is there. It just happened that Pedro and Camilo that he met, and he made some prisionera, they are Puerto Rican nationalists party members. They are nationalists. They are part of the New York Junta or committee. So, the Puerto Rican Nationalist Party is the only organization that exists in Puerto Rico and New York City for 101 years. The only one. No other organization. And people say, oh, but you're not like in the 50s. No, we're not in the 50s. We don't have Don Pedro, and we don't have other leaders. But the group still exists in New York City, and they still exist in New York. Even in here, we had a few people, and we still carry the message, right? It's not to have an organization of 10, 15, 100,000 people and doing what? Doing what? Going to elections every 4 years, and I'm not knocking on elections. So we do have good brothers and sisters here in Puerto Rico and here, right? I mean here, even here in this room, or in New York City and throughout the world, right? So, but we're still there. And people don't know on history, like for example, in New York, we are a maestro of building about 2 or 3 minutes away from El Maestro. That was a place that Lolita Lebron and all these brothers and sisters used to meet. 4 or 5 blocks down, Horse Point Palace, very famous. This is where they did the events many, many times. And this is where in 1980 when they came out, this is where we did a big party for them. And we have the biggest sonero and salsa singer from Puerto Rico, with all due respect, and I'm from Ponce. But Ismael Rivera, Sonero Mayor, was there, and many other people, Andrés Jiménez and all that. But the thing is, so I wrote this book. This book is about 700 pages in both of them, or 700, 800, I don't remember. But anyway, when I started that book, to really work in the book, I had about 5,000 pages. And people said, what the fuck you writing? You're writing that. So I told Camilo, we got to start cutting down. But the idea was that in these books we wanted to honor those 100 years of the party, because I'm not going to be around, or other people are not going to be around to do it. And I see many great writers that write about the independence movement and the Nationalist Party, but nothing like the 100 years of the party. So I started writing, and people kept looking, and the person on the party, and from Puerto Rico, one of the people, yeah, go for it. So what I wanted to do was, number one, honor all the great ones that we know, but there's a lot of great women and men that a lot of people don't talk about them. And they served 15, 20 years in jail for the same word and sacrifice that Abisu and Lolita Lebron and the other ones did. So it's a lot of work, because back in the days, the party existed in Puerto Rico, like basically in every town. And there was thousands of people, and so I started looking and finding like who was the president in this committee in Mayagüez, Humacao, Utuado. Ponce was easy for me at that time, or Jacluya, whatever. And you find so many names. When you get into the history, because the party was founded in 1922. So I got to go back there, and that's like in the 30 when Albizu gets to be the president. And then when the government, they saw that he was somebody that they had to be careful with, then they massacred our first 4 brothers, young students from Rio Piedras, and then they brought a colonel Riggs, that is a guy that persecuted Sandino in Nicaragua, and forget it, So they said, the order was to kill Abisu Campos and to kill the main nationalists. So They killed a few.
So for those that don't know, this is the U.S. government.
This is the
Yeah.
right. And of course, you know,
was part
by
of the US
1898, when the United States take over Puerto Rico, Secretary of State, Secretary of Education, everybody in charge there, they are North American, and they are sent by the United States from here. So they appoint them. They put them. We don't vote
They
for
didn't
that.
even know how to spell Puerto Rico.
Right. Even like in 1917, when we started, they implanted the citizenship. So we don't wanted it because we thought that it was a citizenship, you know. So anyway, so people got arrested. People got arrested, and then other people were taken to jail. So then when they became national, the first thing that they saw, those young people, especially, you know, the brothers, cadets and whatever, that they're willing to sacrifice and fight, they saw, you know, so they arrested them. That was Rafael Cancel Miranda, and basically every major leader on the party. Like, for example, four national boards of the party, starting in 1935, Albizu Campos and the board, Clemente Soto Vélez, Juan Antonio Corregel, and many of the guys arrested. Then in 1937, so two brothers killed the colonel, Riggs. Right? They killed them, but they killed them right there to face, because the order for Albizu Campos was, don't attack at night. I mean, probably at that time was good, but at this time it's not good. You know, you attack when it need to be done. You know, if you got a bully during the daytime and you can't hit him because he with another group, well, probably you could hit him at night better. Okay. So anyway, so they arrested the brothers. They put them in a cell and they massacred them there. No court, no nothing. So they arrested them. By the way, I want to say, with all due respect, when people write books and all that, even people that we know, they are entitled to make mistakes. Okay? But the words and phrase that you use, you got to be careful. Because, for example, these two brothers that killed, Colonel Riggs, there are an English book out there, and a Spanish book out there that call them assassins.
Oye,
Asesinos. And they were not.
tú me vas a matar a mí, yo me defiendo y yo soy el asesino.
Right. So that's the thing. It's just like in the Ponce massacre, when the people got killed, 21 people got killed, including a 13-year-old girl, and people that didn't have nothing to do with it, and they didn't have no weapons or nothing, you know, and about 200 got wounded, and about 300 got arrested, and then the police charged the people that survived the massacre. Blanton B. Winship, the governor at that time, it's considered like the worst. But during that time also, right, and I might be out of years and all that, and I had notes and all that, but then when I come here, I forget about notes. Anyway, so, because of what's happening now with children in Palestine, and children throughout the world, hungry, being killed, and all that. There was a doctor in Puerto Rico called Dr. Arthur P. Rhodes, that was injecting cancer to Puerto Rican kids, to Puerto Rican patients, including children. And the one to find out was Dr. Pedro Albizu Campos, by one of young brothers, Baldoni. And he found a letter that this guy said how he felt good about injecting cancer to those Puerto Rican patients. So basically, they target Albizu because if you read now lately, like for example, Albizu even wrote a letter to the Pope at that time about that situation. And we knew, but lately they put out that letter, you know, that letter got to Papado, whatever, to the Pope and all that. So these two brothers, somebody's calling them assassins, and they were not assassins, they were heroes. In 1937, after that, Albizu got sentenced. Many of the brothers that were survivors from the Ponce massacre, they were sentenced. That's where you have Lady Dominga Cruz Becerril, a black sister, or sister of black color, from the Mayagüez committee. It's a case that when they're shooting, 21 people dead, including some police officers. How the police officers got killed? Because as they playing the national anthem, they took the cap, the hat, and they saluted the flag. So their own cop, their own friend, the cops shoot them. They consider them traitors. And during that time, the shooting, the Puerto Rican flag falls. The lady that went to get the flag, she got shot. So another lady comes out of nowhere, which is Dominga Cruz Becerril. She take the flag and she runs away and all that. When they ask her, "Are you crazy? How are you gonna run? Without shooting and all that?" And she said, the reason why is because el maestro, the teacher, Pedro Albizu Campos, said our flag is never to touch the floor. Mm-hmm. Right? Great history on her life. There's a few books out there on her great history. So, after the 38, on July 25th, which is the day that the United States got to Puerto Rico, July 25th, 1898. The city of Ponce wanted to declare Winship the honorable bullshit for Ponce, the honorable governor or whatever, honorable son of Ponce and all that. I mean, just a year ago, this guy ordered a massacre, the worst massacre, by the way, in Ponce. Are you going to honor these men? So a group of nationalists decided to go after him. So when they were going after him, and like I said before, it was no guerrilla warfare, that you attack from behind and you attack from here and whatever. It was face up. It was face up. That's the way that the Nazis were at that time. So it just happened when they shooting at Blanton B. Winship, what we call a Puerto Rican stupid, whatever, got in the way and he got killed. Okay? So anyways, not that we wanted, but he got in the way, whatever. So, but it just happened that they killed Angel Esteban Anton Giorgi. They killed him, and his body, it was never given back to the family. They disappeared his body. We don't know where he buried. We don't know what happened to him. And that case is similar to another case that happens later on, like in 1978, 1979, to one of the big leaders of the party, Julio Pinto Gandia. He was the right-hand man of Albizu Campos, and he's the organizer for the attack on Congress or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when these things happen, they said that the nationalists, they have lion people and they're fighting, and no matter how many they kill and how many put in jail and all that. So they still going strong with the military service, and basically all the young people, especially young men, they put them away to destroy the party. The party kept going, and basically by the 1940s there was many nationalists in jail, and Albizu's in jail, and then in 1947 Albizu gets to Puerto Rico, and when the time comes to Puerto Rico, they figured that nobody was going to be in 1947 welcoming Don Pedro, but when they go there was thousands of people welcoming Don Pedro, especially in our, the flyer? We don't have the flyer, right? I'm sorry, we have it somewhere there. You have from the beginning.
Yeah, I got it.
We have the flyer right here.
Okay.
Ay, míralo, Franco.
We have the flyer.
Okay, there you go. So basically, this is the flyer, and in here you see me with a uniform. Our uniform is black shoes, white pants, black shirt, tie, and then it has a symbol. And you have what we call a copy, or something.
What color you said?
Black and white. Está guillado. And then, so basically, they were surprised. They were surprised that there was thousands of people there. And a lot of them were women, which is one of the things that I like to highlight in my presentations on my books, because besides Lolita, there were many other women. Some of the greatest bodyguards that our teacher, our main leader, Pedro Albizu Campos, had was women. And it just happened that in a movement, as you're going to see, you get the book there, you're going to see some pictures of some of the traitors. That they became snitch, and they were big in the party, like commanders and whatever, and they became snitch on Don Pedro and many other people. Like even Lolita Lebron's brother, he became a snitch. He was the president of the Chicago Junta. Sorry, Chicago. But anyway, he was a snitch. He not only snitched on Don Pedro, but on Lolita, but he snitched on many other nationalists. But they were like Juanita Ojeda, like Sabrita Rosado, and many other women. Doris Torresola, they were women that they had, they have those clothes on their so pantaletas on their place where men didn't have their pants on the way. But anyway, so many of them they did 15, 23 years and whatever, never snitched and all that. Like one of them, when we talk about women, the second big, well, it was a big thing, throughout the years. But in 1950, after Don Pedro gets to Puerto Rico, reorganized a party, and basically the party was like on the ground, and they were surprised where all these nationals came from. They thought that they had distinguished that everybody, like Alcácer Miranda, they were in jail, and the main leaders and all that. They figured that Don Pedro was going to be there by themselves, and not too many people there, on nationalists. And then, so he organized for the 1950. That it wasn't going to be 1950 revolution that people call, with all due respect. I know people call it Grito de Jayuya, and I respect that. But basically, the story is, and the history is, that it was a revolution, and it was more than a grito, different than a grito de Lares, that it was on Lares, because the revolution that took place in 1950 in Puerto Rico, it started out in Ponce, from Ponce to Peñuela. It was in Peñuela, Mayagüez, Arecibo. It was about 7 or 8 different towns. And for example, Calle, they had a big committee there. They were supposed to be in action. They didn't come in action, but it was a lot of people. And when you look at them, it was hundreds of people that got sentenced for nothing. Like doing nothing, just like collecting money on the street, or selling tickets for a party, for fundraisers for the party, and things like that. And people got 2 or 3 years and whatever. There was another attack on Josh Cooper. Josh Cooper was the one that sentenced Albizu Campos, and they tried to kill him. We had a commissioner resident in the United States, not appointed by us. He was a Spaniard, Santiago Iglesias Pantin. That he supposedly was for the workers and all that, and he was selling out the workers moving in Puerto Rico. So one of the brothers from the Nationalist Party tried to gun him down. He got sentenced to, and he did 10 years in jail. So basically, there was hundreds of people. One of the women in the 1950, Leonidas Diaz from Arecibo, about 5 members or 6 from the family, the husband, the brother-in-law, and 3 sons. By the way, the youngest son, Jesus Diaz, just finished passing. He was the youngest arrested in the 1950. He was about 15 years old. And he got arrested, not much, but the whole family were arrested. And what happened was that they went into fighting, right, to the mountains. And when the police got to the house and they saw the lady there, they asked her, where's your children? Tu familia, your family. I said, she said, yo no parí. I didn't give birth to coward people. If you want to look out on the bed or whatever, they're in the bed, they're in the mountains where people should be. And she got arrested. And she, just for that, and because she said that she had cooked for them before they went to the revolution. And she spent about 7 years in jail. Just for that. Right? So, see.
Porque we just recently in Orlando, we did Jayuya. Fuimos gritos de Jayuya. Yo nunca he oído otra cosa. Yo sé que es una revolución,
right,
pero como quiera se celebró.
No, and like I said, yes.
Y yo personalmente, a pesar de que siempre estoy leí tu primer libro, I always learn so much, even when we have these events. And I get so sad because I said, all these Puerto Ricans that live around here, we got 1 million in the state. We did the Grito de Lares until September, que Iván sabe. We did the Grito de Jayuya. And like for this event, I even sent it for like La Prensa.
Yeah.
And people don't know about these things. They were doing these events here, locally.
My point with that, with Grito de Jayuya, first of all, when you read the book, the Declaration of the Independence, declare Puerto Rico free, Jayuya, it happened, but he wasn't going to be there. That was gonna happen in Utuado. Because Utuado had more naturalists, and that's when Juanita Ojeda is, and many other people, and that's where Don Pedro stood more. And so basically, for many reasons, economic and many other reasons that I can, but it's in the book or whatever, and that's why they were supposed to go. They even have the flag that they were going to wear there, but this happened so much because of what? Because there were snitches in the movement, including the commander Raimundo Díaz Pacheco, his brother, that had been in the party for over 20 years, very, very close to Don Pedro and all that. He's a snitch. Okay, there were many other snitches that were close. So when they said, that people was gonna get arrested, so they said, okay, so we're gonna go and do something, because if we don't do nothing, we're gonna go to jail to, not doing shit. So that's what they did. Okay. But that it wasn't that year, it wasn't that day, but anyway. So I don't say Grito de Jayuya because, like I say, it started in Ponce. People from Ponce fought. In Peñuelas, I have one of my mother's cousins that was there, Marcelino Turel, and they fight the Mayagüez, Arecibo, and there are about 7 or 8 different groups fighting, right? The reason why they call it El Grito de Jayuya because that's what they raised the flag by Blanca Canales, right? But then we're gonna call. Okay, you had your Grito de Jayuya, so let's do Grito de Ponce, and let's do Grito de Arecibo, and let's do Grito from Mayagüez. How many Gritos we had? 8. Wasn't you the same party? Wasn't you the same organization? So that's why if you do something Jayuya, and I know you're gonna speak out everything that was happening, I'm okay. But I prefer, like I said before, it's not the same thing, but this guy calling, or this guy in the book calling these 2 people that killed Rick's asesinos, right? I got a problem with that. So it happened in 1950. So 1950, not only people get arrested in Puerto Rico, but in New York. Because on November 1st, Oscar Collazo and Griselio Teresola, they come to I don't know how to use the word in English, but to ajusticiar, to kill Harry S. Truman, the president of the United States at that time. So besides Zoraida, him, I think, how many people knew or knows who Harry S. Truman was? The president of the United States in 1950. Does anybody know who he was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was an assassin. He was a killer. He was the one that sent to bomb Japan, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima. Over 110,000 people died. Those 2 places will never recuperate. So you saying this guy is a good man? And now you say that these 2 Puerto Rican crazy guys, when the Nationalist Party went to bring justice to him, because what he was doing throughout the world, and because what he was doing in Puerto Rico, because when the revolution is taking place in Puerto Rico, the mayor, the governor at that time, Puerto Rico, Muñoz Marin, that he's a sellout, right? And the president, Truman, they said, we don't have nothing to do with that. That's between the Puerto Ricans over there. We are a colony. You are the one that have the army, you are the one that have the military base, you have everything there, you control everything in Puerto Rico. So also, those 2 brothers, Oscar Collazo and Griselio Torresola, Oscar Collazo from Brook Avenue, 138,
That's right.
and Griselio from Manhattan, and a lot of these ancestors live there in Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens. In this book that I mentioned before, they call these 2 brothers asesinos. And I'm not right with that. I'm not right with that. Because I know some of you got to spend time with Lolita Lebron, Rafael Cancel Miranda, or Oscar Collazo. When you walk to them, they don't have no bodyguards.
No.
They never went no place with in a limousine.
That's right.
Educated people spend 25 years in jail, 28 years in jail, and they come humble to you. They don't need a bodyguards. And are you telling me that those heroes that I learned from them, I respect, and I have them in my house eating with me, with my children, drinking coffee, dancing salsa, música jíbara, and all that. You're telling me now, after all those years that they spent, that they didn't come out rich, they all came out sick and all that. You telling me that these guys are assassins, asesinos? Iván?
Es decir, me gustó mucho la crítica que le hiciste a Dennis en el libro de Guerra contra todos los puertorriqueños.
Yeah.
¿Sabe? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
Porque todo tipo, aquel es un perpetrator, pero ven acá y tú con una pistola, ¿qué va a hacer él?
Yeah, the point is this. The point is this: when you call out, when you kill somebody, let's say you go out there and you have a fight. I hope not. Leave that fight to Ruben. Don't fight. You go out there and you have a fight, right? And now a group come and bully you, beat you up, and whatever, right? So then later on you come because they bully you, they send you to the hospital, whatever. Or not even you, your partner, your little brother, your little sister, and then you come back because you look at them, right? You always, even when you are in a bad situation, you look at faces, right? And you recognize it and you come and shoot them, kill them, whatever it is. Does that make you assassin? You think you're defending somebody that beat you up or probably killed one of your little brothers, your little friends? So when you call somebody killer, right? So you don't know if it was for a good reason or bad reason or whatever. But now when you say assassin, this person assassinated children out there or assassinated a guy out there, that's a different story. And you have to know the history. And also, I had the opportunity, I have the honor of spending a lot of time with all these people from the party. A lot of time. From being a driver, for them sleeping in my house, bodyguard, took them to Puerto Rico. I have letters from Lolita Lebron calling me her son, the son that she never had because she had a daughter, right? And things like that. And I used to visit her in Puerto Rico, and they come to New York with Rafael Cancel Miranda before that. I want to spend time in Maestro, and all these people. So, and I learned from them. And like I was saying about the books, it took me 5 years to get this. But this is something that I've been putting away. Documents, any flyer like this flyer. I don't have to take this one. I already have four in my house. So I put it in a box. And I keep putting paper clippings and newspapers and whatever. So not to say that everything there is correct, but at least give me a date, give me pictures, give me whatever. So that's what I did. So when I was doing this book, I thought it was going to be a one-short book. And I said, well, Camilo, we 5,000. Oh shit, I bring it down. So we brought it down, and then we started putting it away. And basically, we in the last 5 years, we worked on that book. What my thing is that when you have the opportunity to write something, and you're writing about somebody like Lolita Lebron, go talk to her. Go talk to her. If you took well, that's new now. During those days, we don't take no selfie. Right? You have pictures with her because they allow you to come to her.
That's right.
Or to them take a picture with them. You want to use the picture? Nobody gonna say, oh no, you can't use that picture. That's not dumb. They're not bullshitters. They're real. And if I wanna interview Lolita for something that I have to in school. They say yes. They go to you. Those are people. So how are you gonna write a book? The person that he mentioned, he didn't interview no one. And during the time that he wrote that book, we had Rafael Cancel Miranda, Antonio Cruz Colón, to mention some of the tops, Ricardo Díaz, Jesus Díaz. We had Isabelita Rosado. We had over 10 of the really old-timers in the party that did 15, 20, 25 years in jail. He could have went to them. Some people suggested to go to me in New York City, but I know he wasn't going to go to me. So I don't care. Anyway, he blew up. But anyway, so the thing is that if you have the time to interview someone, because you want to corroborate, right? Information, true story and all that, not like Ruben was saying, when they talk bad about him or to him or whatever, go check them out. Check them out. They are, you could talk to them. And then, so that happens. So I want to end up 1954, there was another attack on the Congress of the United States, right? Lolita Lebron, Rafael Cancel Miranda, Ivy Flores, Andrés Figueroa Cordero. That order was by Julio Pinto Gandía, that, like I said, in 1978, 1979, they killed him in Puerto Rico. They disappeared his body. We don't know where he at. We don't know where they put his body. We don't know. So it's similar to what they did in 1938 with Angel Anton Giorgi. And that happened because the United States was still doing in Congress whatever they want. And then they always said, we don't have nothing to do with that. For everything, like I said, from military bases to who run the government in Puerto Rico, or who you want governor in Puerto Rico, or whatever you want, all the companies, labor unions and whatever, even churches, or who sell flowers, who doesn't sell flowers and all that. That's run by the United States. And that's why they did it. That's why they did it. And then you look at that group, Lolita said, it was my idea, it was our idea, whatever. She's not snitching. Her brother's snitching. But it wasn't just them four that got arrested. There was hundreds of nationals that got arrested in Puerto Rico and in New York City. Two of the greatest women that I write, I had the opportunity to meet. One is Rosa Collazo. Rosa Collazo, the ex-wife of Oscar Collazo. And the other lady is Lolita Torresola, which is the wife or widow at that time of Griselio Torresola. Because they was arrested, they were party members in New York. Back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, the Nationalist Party in New York was 500, 1,000 people. We're not talking about, it's a group to do just community work and go to elections. These people that are fighting for the independence of Puerto Rico. And so these two, they got arrested in 1950, Rosa Collazo and Lolita Torresola. They got arrested in 1950 and also in 1954. Because of Lolita and all that, they ended up doing about 6 or 7 years with many other leaders. Okay? And there are many other women, and they end up on West Virginia, and during that time that they got arrested is then too. Blanca Canales is there, and they have many other women. But also, there's one thing, when we call ourselves nationalists, people sometimes they say, oh, they're nationalists, they're just for Puerto Rico. No, we're not for Puerto Rico. Pedro Albizu Campos did a tour in the 30s that he went to places that nobody did, including Haiti. People still don't like to go to Haiti. To find what? That's our sister country.
That's right.
And Albizu went to Haiti, and he went to Dominican Republic, and he went to Peru, and he went to Panama. Right? And he went for 3 or 4 years all around. And everywhere that he went, they established a committee to support the independence of Puerto Rico. And he opened the way or the path for international support, because all those countries like Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, they are some of the top countries that are constantly supporting our case, Puerto Rico in the United Nations. By the way, the person that started the case of Puerto Rico in the United Nations in 1948 was Pedro Albizu Campos. You know who was the first person that was in charge of that committee? It's going to be hard because he was not a Puerto Rican. Telma Milky. But with her, Ruth Reynolds.
Pero la otra, la americana.
Esa misma, Telma Milky and Ruth Reynolds. And Ruth Reynolds. And those are the people, and Ruth Reynolds is a North American. By the way, she has some great books in English. Mm-hmm. Like American in Bondage or whatever. It's a great book. Great book. And just going to Puerto Rico to find out what was going on with Albizu Campos and the Nationalists, they put her in jail too. And she just went to write, and they put her in jail, and she did about 3 or 4 years or whatever. And then too, for example, they never took an oath to be members of the party, but the actions, the support that they gave Don Pedro and the independence movement, they became like basically honorary members of the party. Like for example, us, I'll just give you a small hint. In order for you to be in the party, you have to go for 1 year, 2 years, and we have to check you out or whatever, because all these snitches that we have, not all, some of those snitches, so we got to check you out, doing volunteer work and all that. they are people that be in the party for a long time. I was in the party since 1976 because I had the opportunity to be around some other nationalists. And basically I participated in the group and all that, but officially I was named president of the party in 1993 up to now. And then I became a delegate or whatever. But anyway, so in the books you're going to find a lot of pictures that you haven't seen before. Like the attack on Pedro Albizu Campos' office. You know, Albizu Campos is somebody that they radiated. They gave him radiation. You see his pictures, how he, basically cancer. They torture him. They torture him. He has been the person most tortured. Of course, we also, after that, we have other nationals that were tortured. Basically, most of the leaders from the Nationalist Party, they died of cancer. I remember I was talking before about cancer. Just one example. The Dr. R.P. Rose, that was Dr. P. Rose, that was sent to Puerto Rico after this thing that they found out that I was injecting cancer on the children. They put him out. What happened? The story says, I don't have official document. Other people might have. But it says that he was so close to the president, because the president, what they want to send it, that he's one of the doctors that when Pedro Albizu Campos was in jail in Atlanta, that this is one of the doctors that was seeing at Pedro Albizu Campos in Atlanta jail. So, not to say that he injected cancer.
He was doing radiation.
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
I'd like to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming here and bringing all of this amazing knowledge to our members. As you look around the room, you see that there are some OGs.
Yes.
And you see that there are some young bloods.
Yes.
And so I ask you for some parting words for the group as in general. Give us some advice. We are all activists.
Okay.
We are all justice warriors.
Mm-hmm.
We are all engaged in our communities and ready for a fight. So can you leave us with some parting words of advice?
Yes.
So to kind of gear us towards keeping on the fight and sticking together.
Yes. Well, number one is that, like I said before, we don't have the numbers that we had back in the days in Puerto Rico. We still got a lot of the OGs and we still got young people. And one of the messages that we always get is that this is not our country. That's hard to say. I've been a New York citizen. I was 15. I don't want to come to New York, but I'm still there, right? But now I go back to 4 because before I spent 15 years in New York, I never went back to Puerto Rico. And I went because of the disaster that happened in Ponce, the Mameyes disaster in 1985. So we try to recruit young people in Puerto Rico and New York. I'm doing better in New York what they're doing in Puerto Rico because one of the things is that young people got to put in community service. I don't want to mention how many names, but for example, I have some, like one of the big things that I do in New York is a boxing program. Because I thought that when I was in jail, you had to defend yourself. You have to learn to defend yourself. It's a big difference, like when somebody gonna come and fuck you up, beat you up, and you like this. And you like this, they're really gonna fuck you up. But if they come to you and you know they're coming for you, it's different than when you go like this. Am I right or wrong, Ruben? Right? Even like we used to do in the Savage Club. Outlaws, you come, I know you're gonna hit me, if I don't come, I'm gonna hit you in your balls. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna bite you like my tongue, I'm gonna do something. But you're not gonna fuck me up, you're not gonna beat me up. So like in my gym, I have people, trainers, boxers and all that, young and old, and that's what we do. But number one, we do that because the thing is the experience that we went through, like my brother he was the one that welcomed them. He told them, you don't come with that gang shit here because I was in gangs, I did time and all that. No gangs in here, right? You're going to come, you're going to do this. Sister, you better respect the sister. You're not going in there to rap to the sister somewhere. It could happen, you know. We have a boxer, he was a professional champion, Lefty Rodriguez. A girl came, trained, and whatever, and then at the end they married, and right now they got 3 children, and they're both professional fighters. That's so good. Right? But you're not going to go in there because you're going to have a boyfriend or girlfriend. You're not. You're not. So we tell you straight up, you're not going to go with your pants down either. Put your pants up. We know the history about the pants in jail. Pants down. You know? So stuff like that. Anybody, doesn't matter the religion, right now, you see I'm Santero. Right? So I respect you, Catholic or whatever. You have whatever preference you have. You in the gym, you better respect it. It doesn't matter. And we have all type of people there. And then we have all different nationalities. We have Chinese, we got Africans, we got Hondurans, we got Mexicans, we got Colombian, people from Nicaragua, of course more from Puerto Rico, and all that, and we have one big family. We have a kid 14, 15 years old. He came to the gym 3 years ago. He said, I want to fight, I want to be a champion, but I don't have no money. So you a tough guy. So you got it, okay, and I like him. I said, okay, you go and show me what you have. Come to the gym every day. And in the last year, he won 3 titles or international gold medal in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And he said he's a black nationalist. And he's only 14. So my thing is that I don't, you know, when they go, because they know we have a big mural, and then we got the flag, and we try to tell the difference of the latest flag, who's al bispo, Betance, the Luis Aldea, the drummer, because we have a lot of black people in Puerto Rico, and you go there and you might think that you're in Luis Aldea or to San Antonio, you might think that you're in Harlem, you know, but you are in Puerto Rico and they speak Spanish, you know, and some of them speak English. But anyway, the idea is that we tell them, you come here, you respect, and you go day by day, and you learn. Number one, we want to know that you're doing good in school. If you're in school, you better be good in school. And I don't want, because I already have a few. And you could see them, when they come with the parents, they want to tell the parents what to say. No. You respect your parents. If you can't respect the parent, and you're showing me that you don't have respect for your mother, and she's bringing you here, making a sacrifice to make you here, and she already told me that she's a single mother, and you're not going to respect, you better respect here or you out of here. So those are the little things that we do. You don't have the money, we take you in. But you have to come here, respect, have the discipline. That, for example, when we did this thing for Maria, we have some of our young people volunteer, working, passing this, getting the water every day. Like I'm here right now. Right now we're in up to the first of the next month. We're collecting clothes. So my box has got to be there. Anybody come with clothes, you got to go take them clothes, put them away, because that's going to go to the most needy ones now in December 9. So that's how we give them that advice. You got to be this and that. In here, you got a big brother. If you don't want to talk to me because you think I'm too tough, so okay, you could talk to the other person. He's going to tell you the same shit I'm telling you, right, but he's going to use a different language. You know? So my advice to young people is, be yourself. If you have a brother or a sister, that's your gang. Of course, it's good if you could have more than one person next to you, right? If you could have 2, good. You could have 3 or 4, good. If you could have like 18 brothers and sisters like me, then you better, because you don't need no gang. Right? And then for the guys, if you have a wife like they want to have, be careful. Okay, but that's basically that's the thing. And the other thing, like I know what he's doing. So we already know. Steven, I already know. And what you're doing here, it doesn't matter where you're at. Because you hear a lot of bullshit. I gotta say like that. You hear a lot of bullshit about New York. Mm-hmm. New York, wherever you go, there's good things and bad things. I live in the same place since I came home from jail in 1976. It's good to me. I seen bullying going around. I seen stickers that we suffered out of some mistake. We suffered a break-in in my house, and it was so sad that I had a sister-in-law that she had cancer, and I was pistol whipped when I fought with about 3 or 4 guys. I was pistol whipped and all that, and it was the wrong house. I was looking, I don't know for what. It was no money, it was no drugs or whatever. And the best thing is that my other he wasn't there. He just was walking in. The Moreno also, they call it the Moreno, Tracy, he's our neighbor. And when I came out bleeding and screaming, everybody came like that. Forget it. So, and the way I say, I'm glad that we didn't kill the guy. If they would have been there, they would have killed the guy. So my thing is, you learn as they call by, to protect yourself, to know who you could trust. That's one thing that you have to your ears, your eyes, your heart, who you could trust. Because not everybody have your best interest. Not. And I'm telling you, I know. I know. I've been through that. And But you put people into work, and according, to what you see, their manners, their habits, their good habits, their bad habits. So you gotta learn that. If you have somebody that's coming to you, oh, let's smoke, you're not gonna do nothing, and then later on you're gonna have all the drugs, and then probably the day that you don't have the money for a drink or to buy, okay, so let's take off on that old man. It happens, And for example, I could be here all night. But one of the things that is happening in New York right now, I hope it's not. It might be happening, but we facing this now in our gym, and it goes also with the youth. It's tough because I know some of you know, but especially Ruben and Steven, the bullying. The bullying is hard. So you know what? It's going rampant. It's going crazy in New York City, especially in the Bronx, because I can't take care of New York City. I got to take care of my surrounding areas or whatever. But one of the things that in the last few months, I'm getting people that been bullied, boys and girls, and they are autistic.
Oh.
How are you going to put up with that? I mean, bullying is bullying, I understand. But like I'm saying, if it's a boy that could probably run and tell someone, because I had kids that went there with a black eye, brothers that taken there. Well, now I got to face a mother bringing a child that is autistic and was just bullying by a group in school. And I question myself, what kind of job they're doing there? Because now they got security guards and they got all that. How they allow that? Or what's happening? So I have people, I mean, we don't have probably, I don't know how you call it, medical, whatever, or how to take care of them, but we got the heart. We got the heart, and we see these kids and the parents come to us because they know about that we are the maestro. And el maestro is not me. El maestro is the person I talked to you about, Pedro Albizu Campos. That's what the place is named after. That he will suffer a lot, so we take them in. We take them in. I don't know how many I have, boys and girls, different ages, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, boys and girls. And then we learn that the first thing, that everyone knows, that you show them love. And you put them like me. I talk to them, because I'm the one at the front, and I greet them. That was his job before. Because I used to work for the New York City Housing Authority, and I worked like from 2 to 10. So he'd be at the gym at 3 or 4 o'clock, and he was the one that greeted them. So a lot of times I know he told them something tough, and when I go in there, they look at me bad. They thought it was me. It was but anyway, so the first thing, we show them that love. And then me, I'm not a psychologist, I'm more a historian. So I know that, for example, that she's going to come in, and I already have a girl that could work with her. And she will feel more confidence. And then after a couple of days, she'll be introduced to other people. So we have like a little, like a big sister. They might be the same age, but they have the experience. And they call me, like me, I get angry because not only call me a big brother, now they call me grandpa. I don't hear that shit. Grandpa or whatever, no, I don't hear that. They call me by my name. But we have kids that because they come and they are, they're afraid. And the parents know they're afraid. They don't socialize, they don't talk to people, they don't go nowhere. So now they go in there and you see them doing what Ruben was doing with the brother, and now they hit the backs and they're moving around the ring, and then when we get our champions, we put them in there, and the champion, the first thing that they do, they put the belts around them, and you see them with the belts. They're champions too. So I don't know in a way that answers your question.
100%.
Thank you very much.
For sake of, yes, please. So for sake of time, I know we supposed to get to 9 o'clock. But I mean, if there's someone in the audience that has a question, I mean, we could at least one, right? You guys came out.
I do want to know, how much is the book? Can we pay now? Can we buy it now?
Right, so I want to tackle that too.
Yeah, right.
She's the boss. She's in charge of the book.
All right.
People that want to buy the book.
Right.
Yeah.
This is, like I said, there's 2 volumes, 1 and 2. The first one is up from 1922 to 1965. So, you know, in the back is me in a color picture. And 1922 because that was the year that the party was founded, and 1965 because that was the year that Bisu died, or that Bisu had physically. And then the 1965 to 2022 last year is everything that happens after that. Many biographies on like on Blanca Canales, Lolita Lebron, and many of the people that people don't know. We talk about the Ponce massacre, the Piedras massacre, the military service, all that. But again, there's many pictures here that people don't have. Because like I said, for example, I have one of my trainers, his brother-in-law was a participant in the revolution in Puerto Rico from the town of Arecibo. Nobody had a picture of it. He did tell me about that. It happens that one of my trainers is one of my friends from the gym. We're talking. I said, give me a picture. The picture, oh, how you got that picture? Because that's what I have to do. So she's in charge of the books.
All right.
It's 20 each. 20 each, and you can pay cash.
You whatever. Now, at least you'll have the money.
You can pay by cell, Venmo.
Thank you so much.
Interested in getting a book?
And also, just in case, I have my card there. Anything that I could be of your service, welcome. Either here or you go to New York, and you don't have no place to stay. I don't have a hotel, but you could stay in the ring.
I love it.